over the Epilepsy Journal app and how to use it. It's very simple, very straightforward, but I want to point out some of the key features that we have been finding really helpful. We've been using it for over a year and a half to track our daughter's seizures, so unfortunately we have a lot of data. And I'm going to show you from my point of view so you can see my screen. It'll be easier to follow along. Opening the Epilepsy Journal app, you'll see right at the top there how long it's been since the last seizure that you've tracked. And then you can also see any seizure activity within the last 24 hours, the last week, the last month, the last year, and the last 10 years. And when you're tracking a seizure, all you do is press the seizure button at the bottom, and you will have a lot of information that you can input. So it will immediately start timing once you press that seizure button. You can add in, if you've used a rescue medication, you can add the seizure type. Let's say it was tonic. You can put in any triggers, sleep deprivation as an example, activity, falling asleep, being held, the location, there we go, and then any notes that you want to add there. And then once the seizure stops, you'll just press the stop button and then save that. And you can see in the calendar view, which I'm going to open here, sometimes an ad will pop up, but you can always close that. If you go in the calendar view, you can see at a glance all the days that have seizures. So unfortunately, we have seizures happening every day. But if there are no seizures, there will be no dot on the day. So let's go into the one that we just put in. If you want to edit that, you can go into here, click on it, press edit, or delete it. So in this case, I will be deleting it, but just to show you, you can edit any of the information here. You can even edit the time of day or the day itself. For this one though, I do want to delete it. So that one didn't happen. We're going to remove it. Looking at the calendar view again, you can scroll between the months and go into any of the days to see the seizure activity from that day. And you can see on the left side here is the time of day that it happened, and then in the right it will show you the length of the seizure and the type of seizure that it was. And I do want to point out that if you see a tiny little red dot under that day, it means that rescue medication has been used. That will appear in red. Otherwise, it will appear as a blue dot. And again, you can go into any of these seizures, anything that you've tracked, and edit the time of day, the seizure type, any notes you can edit or delete as I've shown before. Going into the menu tab, you'll see that there are a few really important buttons here. The trends, you can see at a glance, all of the important data. Just scrolling through. You can also generate a report, which is really helpful to send to your doctor, your neurologist, epileptologist, whoever is on your care team. So that will bring up all of the important information, and you can export this and send it to whoever you want. I will also mention in the settings here, this is really important. This is where you can customize a lot of the information that you're adding in. So if you want to put in your activities, for example, you can add an item here. Once you add your item here, it will just show up at the bottom. Save it, and then you can do the same for the seizures, the triggers, and the locations if you wanted to add some customizations there. So for example, we could put daycare. And then I will just go back to the menu here. Lastly, just a note about the sign in. Many people can be using the same account across different phones. So parents, caregivers, teachers, everyone can be tracking the same data, and it will sync from phone to phone as long as everyone is using the same login information. So that is really important. For more information and a tutorial on how to use this app, definitely check out the tutorial section here, and that will give you lots more info.
Problems that want to be solved. We are children that need to be